they either have them adopted out into families within Malawi, or they take them back to the village where they are then raised by extended family. So they basically, it's a crisis nursery, and they keep the babies alive for 2 years and then have them move on. This is us sitting around playing with the babies. They desperately need volunteers. They have lots of staff, but there's just simply not enough hands to be playing with the babies, feeding the babies, helping to take care of them. So one of the things we did was go over and help at the crisis nursery. Another aspect of Ministry of Hope is the feeding centers. And this is one of their 6 feeding centers. This one in particular was built on the outskirts of several little villages outside of Lilongwe. And what they do is kids come every day for their one meal of the day. The kids who come qualify as orphans. And in Malawi, you are an orphan if you've lost one parent and your other parent is having trouble taking care of you. There's just not enough resources to take care of you. Or you can be what they call a double orphan. You've lost both parents and you are either fending for yourself or you are with extended family, which puts a burden on them. So they have established these feeding centers. They feed these kids once a day. They come, they are taught, they're fed spiritually as well as physically. And then they come and play and have a great time before they go home for the day. They also plant gardens at all the feeding centers so they are self-sustaining. They do not depend on outside resources to feed the children. They grow their own food, and then they feed the children with that food. This is lunch. This is every day the women come and they prepare the food. You can see it's a big open pot. It is called nsima. It is nothing more than ground corn and water, and it's a very sticky substance. It's like grits, but what they do is they take it in their hand and they ball it up in their hand, and then they take it and use it as their utensil. They pick up other food with it, and then they eat it together. Here's a picture of 2 little cutie pies showing me their lunch. This is a lot of food for these little children, but we were there during what they call the feeding season, where there's plenty of food. They feed these kids large quantities and they eat it all. It is their only meal of the day. Then, unfortunately, they move into what they call the starving season or the rainy season, where the food supply runs out and they literally have to make it through that. So these children live in a literal feast or famine type of lifestyle, where they're eating when they can, and when there's no food, they don't eat. And I want to point out, too, this little guy's outfit. Her clothes look pretty good, so they must be recent, but 90% or more of the children are walking around in these filthy rags. They only have one piece of clothing. They do not have any other clothes, and they wear them every single day. This little guy's bottom was sticking out of the back. They don't have shoes. They don't have anything. They just have whatever is on their backs. The other aspect of the ministry is the scholarship fund, and this was my opportunity to speak with, these are secondary age school children. Malawi offers free education up to 8th grade. Most kids don't even make it that far for various reasons. But if they get to 8th grade, they have to test into secondary school. The secondary schools are usually boarding schools in the cities, so these kids need money to go to school, buy the supplies, buy the uniforms, and they simply cannot do it without someone sponsoring them. This was a very inspirational day for me. These kids all want to do something extraordinary. They want to be doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, engineers, and they want to stay in Malawi. They do not want to hightail it to the United States and have the good life. They want to stay there with their countrymen and better their lives. The last aspect is the medical mobile unit. And I took this picture of this little boy's arm. You can see it's quite a scab on there and an infection. They try to go out once a week to the different villages. They take medical supplies with them, and they simply set up a clinic. People line up. They have hundreds sometimes at a time. They can't even see them all. But they try to do what they can to help to meet the needs of their medical needs, which there's nothing for them in the villages. So whatever supplies they take, they try to help the kids and the adults. This was the last picture of the day that I took, and I am not a photographer, as you can see, but I feel like this was a gift that was given to me. When I took out my camera, this little girl picked up her cross, and we had worked with them that day. We had done some crafts, and when I saw the picture, when I had it printed out, I realized that the sun was setting behind her, and it put that glow over her head. And I just looked at this picture, and I thought, this is hope. These kids are never going to know a life any different than what they know here. they're never going to know our lives, but they have hope, and this is hope. And as we were leaving a few days later, I was at the airport and we were working with some college interns that had come over for the summer. And I said, I don't want to go home. Most of the people were like, I can't wait to get a shower. I'm like, I really don't want to go home. And she said, there's an old African saying, once you get the dust of Africa on your feet, you can never shake it off. And I thought, that is so true for me. And God willing, I'm going to get to go back again in the fall. Our church is running another missions trip, and that is my hope. And for you, I hope that you can all work through whatever is on your bucket list. Because the truth is, none of us know when we're going to kick the bucket. Mr. Turner.